Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Amber, or welcome back to my channel. If you have been following me for a little bit, then you know I have not posted in almost 2 months, and that is because we moved from Arizona to Colorado, and moving is already complicated in and of itself, but moving with a baby is twice as complicated. And then getting back into your routine is more difficult. And at least for us, once we finally started to get back into our routine, we all got sick. So that just like re-threw us off. But we're finally settled and really getting back into the swing of things. So I figured it is time to pick up the camera and really try to get out some content for you. So speaking of moving, today I am going to be telling you 7 tips for traveling, specifically flying with a baby, because I know that flying with a baby seems so overwhelming and stressful if it's your first time doing it, because nobody wants to be that person that's like stuck on a plane with a screaming baby. So let's just get right into it. So my first 3 tips are actually things to do like at least a couple weeks before your flight. So the first thing is to decide if you want your child to be booked as a lap child, in which case you don't have to pay for like an extra seat. They'll just sit on your lap. Or if you want to book them their own seat, in which case you will have to pay for an extra seat, but you can bring their car seat on as well, and so they can sit in that, and then of course they can also get in your lap as well. So kind of just depends on your baby and how long your flight was. My flight was less than 2 hours, so we just booked my son as a lap child, and he just sat in my lap for like basically the whole time. Again, it really just depends. If you want to save money, then the lap child might be the way to go. But if your flight is longer, or if you know that your child's like a little bit more on the antsy side, then having that extra seat could really be beneficial. My second tip is to make a list of what you need to bring ahead of time. When you're traveling with a baby, you really do not want to forget anything, because I think forgetting something as simple as like an extra change of clothes can end up really adding a lot of stress if like your baby has a blowout, for example, and you didn't pack an extra pair of pants or something like that. So making a list when you are not in a rush, when you're not stressed, when you can just like take your time and really think through every single thing that you need can be so helpful, and it can make the whole packing process just twice as fast. And I think that it's a good rule of thumb when you're traveling with children to pack extras. Pack extra diapers, pack extra pairs of clothes, extra toys, extra snacks, just to make sure that you don't run into a situation where you don't have enough of something that you need. My next tip is to purchase like 2 or 3 brand new toys, and don't give them to your baby until you're actually like at the airport or on the plane. And that way, if you run into a situation where they're getting kind of fussy, you can give them something new, something super interesting, something that they've never seen before. On top of that, I also think it's good to pack like 1 or 2 of their, like tried and true favorite toys as well, so that they have something familiar. I will say though that I don't think you have to go too overboard with the toys, because I think it can feel tempting to bring like every toy they have, or like to stuff as many toys in your diaper bag as you possibly can. I don't think that's fully necessary, because it's important to remember that babies are so curious about the world around them, and they a lot of times are perfectly entertained to just like watch and observe, or to like walk around with you and explore. And at an airport or even in an airplane, there is tons of new things to look at. So just keep that in mind when you are picking out toys. Okay, really quick before we get on to my next tip, if you are enjoying this so far and you're finding it helpful and you like motherhood, kind of crunchy living, vlog, lifestyle videos, please subscribe to my channel. Just hit that little button right down there. I would love to see you around here more often. All right, next tip is get to the airport early, and I mean over 1 hour early, even if it's an airport that you are really familiar with, because keep in mind that just everything takes a little bit longer with a baby. Just getting around from like Point A to point B is going to take probably close to double the time because you have to like get the car seat and get them in and out, and it all just takes longer. You might have to feed them, you might have to stop to change them. I left 2 hours before my flight, and this is an airport that I am very, very familiar with. I missed my flight, you guys. Missed my flight, had to get on a different flight. It doesn't help that for us, a lot of things went wrong that we didn't anticipate, but even if things are just going perfectly smooth, like I said, things just take longer with a baby, but you want to leave plenty of time for things to possibly go wrong, keeping in mind that it's probably going to take longer to correct any mishaps because you have a baby. I also was like a little bit worried about getting to the airport too early and having him get antsy and then like needing to try to entertain him in the airport. But now, speaking from experience, I can tell you it's much nicer to get there really early, like 2 hours early, and find ways to entertain your baby than to be running late and rushing with a baby. Tip number 5 is don't be afraid to ask for help. Ideally, if you can have someone fly with you, whether it's like your husband or a friend, or if you can ask one of your parents to come with you, that is the best thing because it's so helpful to have an extra set of hands. For me, my dad ended up flying with me because Alex drove all of our stuff in like a big U-Haul from Arizona to Colorado. So my dad came with me, and that was so helpful, especially when all of these things started going wrong. But if you are flying alone, do not be afraid to ask somebody to like hold the door for you or to help you lift something, because I found that most of the time people are like more than happy to help. And you would think with a baby, a lot of people would do those things without you needing to ask. I guess it really just depends on where you are, because I have found in a lot of situations they don't. So if you are in that situation, don't be afraid to ask for help, because something as simple as someone just like holding the door so that you can just like get through with your baby and all your stuff can make things a little bit easier on you and save you some time. Next tip is to gate check some items. How many things you can gate check will probably depend on your airline, so definitely double check ahead of time. I was able to gate check my car seat, the stroller, and the car seat base, which was so helpful. If you don't know what a gate check is, it's where instead of checking those items right when you get to the airport, you can take them all the way to your gate, so through TSA, which is so helpful because walking through the airport with your baby and then like carrying your luggage would be such a pain. So just being able to like push them in the stroller is so nice. So once you get to your gate, when you see those little like kiosks where there's usually like some employees working, you can go to them, they'll give you a tag for your items, and then you can walk your things all the way up to where you're going to like get on the plane, like literally stepping onto the plane. You just leave your items there. Someone will come and get them, take them down below, and then when the plane lands, those things will be waiting right there for you right when you step off. So that was also really nice. My last tip for you is to not stress too much and to not overthink flying with your baby. At the end of the day, sometimes babies just cry, and that's just how it is. And that doesn't mean that you need to like hole yourself up in your house for fear of having a crying baby in public. Mature, kind adults know this and will not have a problem with it. You know, if your baby is crying in the airport or on the airplane, you might be worried about what other people are thinking, but I guarantee you the majority of people understand, and I think that usually the person that's freaking out the most is the parent. Another thing to remember is that these days there's so many ways for people to like block out noise. If somebody knows that they easily get annoyed by like the sounds of the world, including a crying baby, then they should be prepared with earplugs or headphones or something like that. And if someone is like giving you looks or like the stink eye or something like that because your baby's making noise, then that is a person that should not be flying. that is a person that should be driving from point A to point B so that they can have complete control over the noises in their car. So hopefully that just helps you kind of like shift your mindset and feel a little bit more at ease about traveling with your baby. Okay, so that is all I have for you about traveling with your baby. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any really good travel tips, please leave them in the comments down below so that other parents can take a look. I think, the more advice when it comes to things like these, the better. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!